AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. You don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your opponent.
Ever since Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was crowned the Democratic Party's shining hope for 2028, Bill Maher's been sounding the alarm louder than ever. Just like he did back in 2024 when the DNC bet everything on Kamala Harris. He warned them then, and they ignored him. We all saw how that disaster unraveled, but now Maher's back, blazing hotter than ever, calling out the cracks in their latest chosen one. He's not just criticizing, he's practically begging the left not to blow it again. So if you're craving raw, unfiltered political drama, hit that subscribe button. Let's set this thing on fire.
AOC. People love Jasmine Crockett. People love Eric Swalwell and the like. And I think that the Democratic Party should put the people out there who the people want. They should put the politicians out there who the people want, who they're asking for, who are meeting the moment with the same energy that
They're not asking for AOC.
Yes, they are.
The people you party with are.
No. The people I party with don't like AOC.
Oh, please.
No, they don't at all.
Well, most people don't.
But
she's
AOC,
very far left.
Let me tell you why I'm saying that.
Is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy.
Person Crockett is part of the new trend where informality is okay, where formality used to reign. Okay, fine. That's been going.
A podcaster talks or some shit. Fuck it, man. Can you imagine, I don't know, Obama saying, man, dude, this shit is whacked. Fuck it. Slap me. I'm fucking over it. I mean, come on.
Ad interview. Just days after AOC's name began circulating as Kamala's possible replacement, things started going off the rails, fast. Instead of rising to the moment, AOC's been burning down her own credibility, one baffling media appearance after another. From bizarre economic rants to incoherent policy spirals, she's raising more red flags than confidence. If this is the Democrat Party's future, they might need to hit reset, quick. Because the more she talks, the more voters are asking, is this seriously the best they've got? Ad interview. This is exactly why voices like Bill Maher keep hitting the panic button. Strip away the fiery speeches, the dramatic tweets, the social media theater, and what are you left with? Not much. She mistakes volume for value, aggression for authority. There's no depth, no direction, just a constant performance. One that wins applause online, but loses voters in the real world. Maher isn't guessing, he's reading the signs. And if Democrats gamble their future on AOC, they're not just playing with fire. They're setting up a political explosion. Look at the numbers. Fewer than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be American. Over half say they're embarrassed. Embarrassed. Like America's your mom picking you up from school in sweatpants. Maher fires back. Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual. Because this generation lacks perspective. No country's perfect. But treating America like the villain? That's not the winning message Democrats think it is. Already support is bleeding. Fast. The base is exhausted from the party's obsession with performative politics. Biden didn't exit with dignity. He faded out in a fog of confusion, burnout, and broken promises. Kamala only added to the mess with speeches that made no sense and leadership that never showed up. And now, AOC is charging ahead, doubling down on the same ideological bubble that's already driving middle America out the door. And if you're still holding out hope that Gavin Newsom or Tim Walz might swoop in and save the Democratic Party, good luck. Both have resumes jammed with scandals, hollow virtue signaling, and policy blunders so tone-deaf they alienate more voters than they attract. Even the party faithful, die-hard Democrats are beginning to drift away. Some are leaning towards centrist alternatives, others are just giving up on voting altogether. But here's the thing. It's not just about who's leading the charge. It's the direction they're charging in. Because the real problem? The ideology. It's completely out of step with economic reality, public safety, and the kind of basic common sense most Americans live by every day. You don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And you definitely don't love it if you've grown to hate all the things people once cherished about it. You know that classic moment in political debates when the moderator asks both candidates to say something nice about your opponent? That moment used to mean something. A moment of shared ground, civility, humility. Now it feels like an artifact from a different era because the rage machine doesn't stop long enough to allow a compliment. Let's pause here and take a real look at what Bill Maher is pointing toward, because he's not just attacking a candidate. He's shining a floodlight on a deeper problem, a kind of compulsive contempt from AOC and the progressive wing of the Democratic Party for America itself. And Maher doesn't hold back. He tears into their performative outrage, their obsession with identity politics, and their habit of equating patriotism with prejudice. It's not politics, it's performance art with a side of moral superiority. To them, anything remotely associated with Trump, instantly villainous. Tax breaks that helped working-class families, racist, border enforcement, xenophobic, energy independence, climate denial. It doesn't matter how effective the policy is. If Trump even glanced at it, it's dead on arrival. And Maher calls that what it is: ideological self-sabotage. The Democrats, in their rush to oppose everything Trump ever touched, have started rejecting reality itself. And in doing so, they're alienating millions of everyday Americans who still believe in this country, not as a utopia, but as a work in progress worth preserving. For all their talk about fighting for the soul of America, sometimes it feels like they don't even like America very much. To too many on the left, America is just a big mistake. The red, white, and you. A country born in sin and doomed to stay that way. A nation founded on oppression, incapable of redemption. But they ignore the truth. This country has changed and is still changing. Then there are the moments that go viral, the sound bites that reveal the soul of this new progressivism. Like when Representative Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And she posted that on the 4th of July. Now, I'm not exactly a flag-waving guy myself. I'm not the one launching fireworks every Independence Day, but I am a perspective guy. And that's what this movement has lost: perspective. Sometimes I open Twitter, take one glance at my feed, and close the app immediately, because the wave of anti-American rage is overwhelming. It's like an online bonfire fueled by bitterness, led by young progressives who seem to despise the very country that gave them the freedom to rant in the first place. You see them trashing America's history, mocking its values, spitting on its flag, painting this country as a villain, rather than the place that gave them opportunity, free speech, and a quality of life most of the world only dreams of. I've traveled. I've seen the rest of the world. And let me tell you, most countries don't even come close. Not in freedom, not in fairness, not in prosperity. Yet somehow this generation thinks it's rebellious, even noble, to bash their own nation. It's not. It's spoiled. It's clueless. And honestly, it's embarrassing. Here's something the woke crowd won't post. 72% of Black Americans under 30 say they're optimistic about their future in this country. That's way more than white people their age. Why? Because they still see hope here. They still believe in what America can be. And when it comes to all the land acknowledgements at events now, where someone steps up and solemnly declares, "I'm standing on land stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe," my response is simple: either give it back or shut up. Because this endless performance of guilt and virtue isn't justice, it's just posturing. And posturing doesn't fix anything. And that's where AOC comes in again, with her headlines, her hashtags, her viral speeches, but all of it, just more performance. Everything AOC does feels like a rehearsed stage play, not to lead, but to earn applause and rack up votes. She's built this image of a scrappy working-class hero, but let's peel back the curtain. The truth? Her real name is Sandy Ocasio, not exactly the revolutionary moniker she pushes on her posters. And that gritty Bronx upbringing she talks about so much. Turns out she actually grew up in Yorktown Heights, a quiet, well-off suburban neighborhood, a far cry from the struggle story she clings to on the campaign trail. And that bartending job she always brings up? Come on. Millions of students juggle service jobs while chasing degrees. That's not some underdog triumph. That's just life. But AOC wraps it up in a heroic underclass narrative, acting like she clawed her way out of the gutter when really, she's been play-acting the role of one of us while enjoying a lifestyle most Americans only dream about. This isn't authenticity. It's calculated PR, and voters, they're finally catching on. Then there's her claim that so many people in this country hate women. It's the kind of statement that shuts down dialogue and drowns out nuance. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar just to ruin the vibe seems more welcome than this kind of rhetoric. Because here's the truth. Compare the freedoms women have in America to much of the world, and it's not even close. Women here can vote, own property, run businesses, run for office, wear what they want, drive wherever they want, and speak their minds without fear. They don't need permission. They don't need approval. And they're not treated like second-class citizens. Yet somehow AOC and others would have us believe that America hates women just because it doesn't blindly adopt every single demand from the most radical corners of gender politics. But disagreement isn't hate. Pushback isn't oppression. It's ironic. The same people who scream about systemic misogyny are doing so from a country that gives women more power, more safety, and more rights than almost any place on the planet. And when the attacks shift from gender to economics, the script doesn't change, just the label. Congressman Jamal Bowman even called capitalism slavery by another name. Let that sink in. No, it's not. Capitalism, as flawed as it is, has brought more prosperity, more innovation, and more opportunity than any other system known to man. It's the engine behind America's rise, and the very thing that lifted millions out of poverty. People don't risk their lives crossing oceans to escape capitalism. They flee toward it, toward the American dream. Sure, socialism might sound noble in theory. Shared wealth, no poverty, but in practice, it collapses under its own weight. Venezuela, Cuba, the Soviet Union, all resource-rich nations that fell apart chasing an idea that didn't work. The difference is clear. Capitalism rewards effort. It drives invention, and it works, even if it doesn't work for everyone, all the time. America shouldn't flirt with socialism. It should run in the opposite direction, because we don't need slogans and theories. We need systems that deliver. And speaking of delivering, you know who truly appreciates America? Immigrants. They don't spend their days ranting about the sins of 200 years ago. They don't wake up bitter about statues or flags. They don't treat freedom like a burden. Why? Because they've lived without it. They've endured real oppression, real censorship, real hunger. And yet, they leave everything behind, risk everything they have, crossing deserts, oceans, jungles, just for a chance to live here. Not for handouts, not for Twitter clout, but for freedom, dignity, and opportunity. And that tells you everything you need to know. If America was the dystopian nightmare AOC describes, people wouldn't be dying to get in. They'd be clawing to get out. Immigrants understand what so many of AOC's loudest supporters have forgotten. America, even with all its flaws, remains a shining beacon. Not because it's perfect, but because it's possible. They don't come chasing socialism. They don't come seeking performative politics. They come chasing the American dream. So when privileged politicians bash this country from their taxpayer-funded offices, it's hard not to laugh, because the ones who understand America the best are usually the ones who weren't born here. In the end, the loudest critics are often the most sheltered, and the quietest, most grateful believers, they're the ones who've seen what the alternative really looks like. So block out the noise. America isn't flawless, but it's still the world's greatest shot at liberty, opportunity, and truth. And that wraps up today's video. If you found this perspective refreshing, make sure to hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more straight talk. No fluff, no filters. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.